Okay, good afternoon or morning or whatever time it is. We are going to be on Revit Demo 2. You should have Revit Demo 1 done, and it should look something like this. Just, pretty much the 6 walls and the changed out wall there on the front. We're going to go ahead and put some doors in this thing. So we're going to go to the floor plan level 1. Make sure you're on floor plan level 1, by the way, and not ceiling plan level 1. That's something different. So this is the one we want to be on right here on floor plan. Okay, and you should see something that looks like that. Our play is we're going to throw a front door on this thing, kind of on this little wall right here. It's going to be a certain distance away from this wall right here, just kind of like right there. Okay, all right, so here we go. We're going to go to architecture, and we're going to go to door. Now the doors that are preloaded, there's not very many of them. There's just these little single flush doors. Even almost like a bathroom door or for your bedroom. Not much going on there. So we want to see some better ones. So we are going to load family right up there. When you do, it's going to take you to the Imperial Library, which is kind of where we store all of the families that Revit gives us. And we're going to go to doors, because that's what we want. Okay, so what do we want here? I want an exterior door. So I'm going to go to residential. And the one I'm looking for is the single entry half arch glass wood clad. I believe it's around 4th on the list right there. And yeah, pretty little door. We're going to go ahead and hit open, and it's going to ask us what sizes we want. This is called a type catalog. We don't want to load every single size of every single door we bring in because we have a gazillion of them. So we're just going to bring in the ones we want. We want to bring in a 32 by 96. I'm going to hold the control key down, and that'll allow me to multiple select. By the way, if you do it by accident, oh, I didn't really want that 34 by 84, you can hold the control key down and then unselect it. Okay, so we're going to look for the 32 by 96 and the 36 by 96, and we're going to hit OK. And that's going to bring in those two sizes. So you'll know now, notice now we have the ones we had before, but now we have these two new sizes. We'll go ahead and take the 36 by 96. And notice that little circle with the slash through it. Doors need to be in walls. And that would make sense, right? Because how are you going to put a door in like empty space? They like walls. So they want to attach to walls. It's called hosting in Revit. And we're going to host that wall, sort of that door to the wall. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and plunk it in somewhere like right there. I'm going to hit escape a couple of times to get out of the command, and you'll see that now mine says a 1 here. If yours doesn't say a 1, it just means that this little tag on placement thing was not chose. So when you put it in, it might have gone in like that. Don't worry about that. If there's no number there, it's all right. Okay, hit escape a couple times. So if you hit escape a couple times, get you out of the command. All right. So if I go to the 3D view, you will see that we have this beautiful door. If I went to the south elevation, you'll see that I have this beautiful door. Excuse me. This little door has a, call it an arrow. This is symbology we use to show where the hinges are. So this is pointing to the hinge, which means the hinge is on the left. And you'll notice that I go to the floor plan, the hinge is on the left because that's where the door is, right? If I was to take that door, pick it, and hit this little side arrow, you'll notice that the door flips, and that's what they're called. They're called flip arrows, and they just flip the door. Now you'll notice if I go to the south elevation, that little arrow switch sides is pointing to the hinge. Now it's on the right. You won't be able to tell it changes from the 3D view because there's not doorknobs or anything on there, but don't worry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and flip that so that it's so the hinge is on the left. Also, if it's swinging in or swinging out, those flip arrows do the same thing. So they flip in and out. I would like you to flip it so it's on the inside of the building. Okay, kind of like that. All right, now these can be picked and you can move them. So I could, whoops, didn't want to do that. I just want to move it, and you can slide it pretty much along all that hosted wall. Now if you want to move it onto this other one, you can't really do that. It's just on the host. All right, we're going to have a controlling on that here in a second. All right, so you see how that we flip it using the flip arrows. All right, I'm on page 30 on the bottom, just showing you that. Again, don't worry about the door tag. We'll deal with that later. It's not a problem. Sorry, I'm just looking at what I want to do here. All right, what I want to do, I'm on the bottom of page 20. What I would like to do is I would like to make this edge of the left door be 2'6" to the outside face of the wall. Now, if I pick it, you'll notice we do have temporary dimensions, but they're not really doing what we want. I want this dimension to be going to the left edge of the door, and then I want it to be going to the outside of the wall, not the middle like it's doing right now. So we can do that with these witness lines. If you see a little blue dot there, if you just left click on it, see how it snaps, and left click, and left click, just bounce it around a little bit like I'm doing here, and it just kind of toggles. I'd like you to put it to the outside. Now on this other side here, do the same thing. Don't drag it, just click it. Left click, and you can see how it's bouncing around the door. I would like it to be on the left edge of the door, and I would like that number to be 2'6", and this is the way you're going to do it. 2 space bar 6. You don't have to put the feet and inches in there. You can do it that way with the space bar. Hit enter and see how it drives it. So it's now 2'6" from the left edge of the door to the outside face of the wall. And then just pick into white space. And you've moved the door to exactly where we want it to be. So that's what we do in Revit. We kind of jam it in there, and then we use the temporary dimensions to control exactly where they go. And you'll see, of course, in the elevation, it looks great, and in the 3D view, everything happens all dynamically. So, when you move the door in the floor plan, it changes in the elevation and it changes in the 3D view. If I change it in the 3D view or I delete it, then it would be gone everywhere. If I deleted that door, don't do this, but if I deleted the door and then I go to the south elevation, it's toast. If I go to the floor level 1, it's toast. Let me just undo that. Okay, so now, of course, it's back and it's back. All right. So we've got our door in. Let's put a couple of garage doors in here. I'm going to go back to the floor plan level 1. We're going to put a couple of garage doors in here. So we're going to go to door. And of course, we don't have any garage doors right now. We just have these interior doors. So we're going to load family. Now you'll notice it left off where we left, where we were before. So that's actually good for us. You can see the path is kind of crazy right there, but you can always go back to the Imperial folder, by the way, just by coming over here to the side and going to the Imperial folder. You see where that's kind of where we started before. Okay, what I'm looking for is the garage embossed panel. It's like what, 6th on the list, something like that. Hit open. And what we're going to do is there's 2 different ones it brought in automatically. So this one just has 2, so it didn't have a type catalog that time. It's got a big door and it's got a little door. I'm going to do a little door twice. I'm going to put a little door here. I'm going to do this wrong here. And let's go ahead and flip that. You see how if I move my mouse along the wall, see how it goes both ways. Let's go ahead and do this really stupid. Let's go ahead and do like that. So that's pretty awful. It's not centered. You can see that one door is going to go the wrong way here. If I go to the 3D view, you can see that door actually looks pretty right. So that's sucking into the wall. And this door is kind of a nightmare. You can see that the part where the garage door swings up should be going inside the garage. So if you have an RV and you're going in there, the occupants are going to get shish kebabbed. So we need to change that. We need to flip it basically. So let's go back into the floor plan. We're going to pick the door and see the arrow. So just like on the other door, we're going to flip it. See how it flips. Perfect, just like that. Now if I go to the 3D view, you'll see how that looks a lot better. Now you will notice that they're kind of not really balanced. There's a lot more space over here on the right than there is on the left. So we'll go back to the floor plan and we're going to control that. What we're going to do is we'll make this 7 feet right here. So just pick on the garage door, do the temporary dimension in this case on the right, 7, enter. You see how it drives at 7 feet. This one's going to the center, which is fine. Do the same thing on the other side. Just go ahead and make that 7. And what that'll do is it'll make it the same distance from the outsides in each one. And so that'll look pretty good there. I'm pretty happy with that. So we have 2 garage doors in there, kind of like that. I am on page 21, just finishing up. So that 7 that we put in is called parametrics. The dimension drives the model. So like when I'm in that floor plan and I pick on that dimension and I say this is, let's say 6, that number as it moves the model, that's called parametrics. And it's a really powerful feature of the software. All right. If you're on page 22 at the top, it should look something like this. Now you'll notice that in this case, my numbers didn't go in like they did here. The reason that is because when I went to door, I didn't have this tag on placement thing on. It's really no big deal. Tags are just showing us something about that door. In this case, it's just a little data tool we use to identify different objects in this. So if I, objects in the model, if I put, oops, try that again. If under mark here I put Fred or something like that, you'll see that it says, Fred. So we can change that pretty much as we want. You don't need to do it that way. I'll just keep that as a 1. Now, this particular door is door number 2, and this little door is door number 3. The reason it's not showing is because that button wasn't on. If you want to tag them, you can go to Annotate and Tag by Category. I'm going to uncheck Leader here, and then you just kind of, there's number, whoops, missed it. Let me undo that. 2 and 3. The other thing coming up there is a wall tag, so we can tag walls as well. So that's what that was. Hit Escape a couple times. But again, if you don't have the tags there, don't worry about it. We can get those later. All right, so we have 3 doors. Let's see. Let's go ahead and let's bring in a few more doors for later. There's a different way of loading doors. You can bring them in to use them later, and this is the way you do it. So like right now I've got a few doors, these are the ones I have right here. There's not very many of them. I've got a couple of garage doors, a couple of interior doors, exterior doors, and then a few interior doors. If you want to load them just to use them later, here's how you do it. We're going to go to Insert, and you're going to load family. And then what you're going to do is you just go to your folder, wherever it happens to be. I'm going to go ahead and just move this back to doors here. So what do I want here? I want a double sliding door, kind of like you would have like in a bedroom, like a slider door. So let's see, door double sliding. There it is right there in this doors folder. And it's going to go to a type catalog asking us how big we want it. I want 68 by 80. I'm on page 22, by the way. It's all kind of documented there. And I also want control. I want a 72 by 80. So I'm holding the control key down so I can multiple select, hit OK, and that's it. They're in. So you can see here, if I'm indoors, you can see how I've got a couple of them now. Let's continue. Let's go ahead and insert load family. So here we go. Insert, load family. Let's do door exterior double full glass wood clad. I believe in residential, that's the first one on the list. Door exterior double full glass wood clad. Yep, that's it. And you can see the size there. It's like 1016 KB. So make sure you're getting the right one there. Hit open. And again, it's going to go to the type catalog. I would like a 60 by 96 and a 72 by 96. And hit OK. Now, one thing Autodesk has, you may notice this little Autodesk family next to it. If you can sign in with your Autodesk account, you get access to this. So it's kind of cool. So what you can do is you can go to Insert and you can load family. And all these families that we were just loading are in the cloud. So if you want to load the family from the cloud, you can get it from the cloud. The cool thing about the cloud is you can see the preview pictures a little easier. And it's easier to kind of, let's see, what kind of door do I want? I think I want an overhead rolling door. A little easier to see here. And again, it can pull it from the from the cloud, and you can see all the stuff pretty much all the stuff that we have in our Imperial Library is right here. You can only access that though if you're signed in. So you have to have an Autodesk account. So I need all of you to have that. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. So you can see now that if I go to doors, architecture door, now we have all these new types of doors that we want to use. So insert load family. It's just a way of doing it where you can load it in without actually putting it in right now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and throw an interior wall on here. So I'm going to escape a couple times. We're going to go to wall, and we're going to go to wall, and we're going to go ahead and do, let's see, which one shall we do? I would like, oh, I hate when it does this. Try this. This is, well, when I do these presentations, sometimes it cuts off this this properties bar. Let me see if I can tear it off here and do it this way. Sorry, that you won't have to do this. This is just on my thing here. Let's see. Sorry. Trying to think of what I did to solve this problem before. See how it's cutting it off. You guys, if you roll down here, you'll have more of them. You know, I'd like you to use the interior 5-inch partition 2-hour, and you'll have it on here. It's going to be a little lower than this. This is just cutting off. It's just acting weird. I'm going to do mine a little differently. Just ignore this. Just you do it from here. Okay. So let me just put this back on again. You're going to do it from here. I'm going to do it just a little differently. Okay. You just ignore this. I'm just doing this because this is the way I have to do it. Walls. So the one I want you to grab from the properties bar is this one right here. Sorry, it's a graphics thing from my classroom control stuff. Okay, I'm just gonna drag this in, and I'm just gonna make the wall. Just put it like right around there somewhere. Hit escape a couple times. So it should look something like that. It's the interior 5-inch partition 2-hour wall. Okay, again, you won't have any trouble pulling that from your properties. Just go architecture, wall, wall, and then go for it. Just, right around there somewhere. We'll go ahead and make this like 15 feet away. Give me like a 15 there. So it's 15 feet away from that right wall. I don't need you to snap the witness lines or anything. All right, so we've got an interior wall there. Let's take a look at this in 3D just for giggles. And you can see, oh no, what did I do? Well, what I did is when I put the wall in, I didn't tell it how tall it was supposed to be. So when that happens, you can change it. You can go over to the properties, see where it says top constraint. Remember how we did this when we did our first walls? You can go, yeah, you're not unconstrained. You're going to make this up to level 2. So the base, the bottom is level 1, which makes sense, and now the top constraint's level 2, and you can see now it's kind of melding with the rest of the walls. That's a very common thing when people put them in, they forget to give it a constraint. Okay. All right, beautiful. Let's see. I am on the top of page 24. Okay, next thing I want to do, let's go to the level 1. I'd like to change the outside walls. Okay, I would like them to be a different type of wall. I like them to be like a stucco wall. So here's a little trick. We want to change all of this, all these ones that are 5-inch generic 5s, this one like that. I want to change them all at the same time. Now this is different. This is an interior wall, right? The partition one. I'm going to pick one of the 5-inch walls. I'm going to right click, select all instances, visible in view. What that'll do is it'll say, oh, all of the generic 5s that I can see in this view, I'm going to pick. And you can see that there's actually 5 of them, right? Which is what it should be. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change that to this exterior EIFS on metal stud. Boom. And you should get quite a bit thicker because it's thicker than 5 inches. And if you look at your 3D view, yeah, it kind of looks like that. If I put this in a realistic, it's probably not going to show much because the material on that stucco is pretty crappy. So you can see I don't know if you can see it's stucco or not, probably not. The material on this is really bad. Nah, don't worry about it. But you can see it's wider. We'll do the stucco later. Okay, thicker walls, all 5 of them. And again, it's pick it. You can do this from any view, by the way. Right click, select all instances, visible in view. You could do it from that view, and you can change them to whatever one you want them to be. Let's say it was generic brick, then they would all be generic brick. Select all of the generic bricks, right click, select all instances, visible in view, and we can change those back to the EIFS. I'm not sure what the acronym is, but basically it's a synthetic stucco. They're kind of weird, but that's what we're using. Okay, and you see it's thicker because this exterior wall is again wider than 5 inches. All right. I'd like you to verify, please, that the arrows are on the outside. Remember how they were on the outside and we fixed those? Now you can see why. Because we want the stucco to be on the outside, right? All right, that looks good. This is a different type of wall. That's the CMU one, so that's different. All right, looking good. Okay, let's throw an opening in here. So, you know what a door is, obviously. A door, it's got this case work around the outside that we hold the door on, and then there's a door in there, right? So, let me show you what an opening is. Let's go back to level 1. We're going to bring in an opening. I'm on the top of page 25. And openings are basically doors that don't have a door. Or sorry, it's an opening. Yeah, it's a door without the actual door. That's right. So it's a hole in the wall, if you will. All right, so people can pass through. So it might go something like this. We're going to go to architecture, component, place a component. And we don't have one in here, I don't think, loaded. We got trees, we got parking spaces. Components are sort of like a junk drawer for Revit. They got all kinds of stuff in there, a couple of desks. Yeah, not what we want. So we're going to load family. And we are going to go, I'm going to go back here to the Imperial Library. So it gives us back to the main area. By the way, don't pick metric. I don't know why metric is on there, but don't pick metric. Imperial Library. We're going to go to, when we want an opening. How about openings? And the one we're looking for is this passage opening cased. And hit open. Now, this one doesn't have a type catalog. It's just going to bring in, I don't know, was that 7 or 8 types, something like that. Just bring in the biggest one, the 36 by 84, and just plunk it in anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and plunk that, say right there. Now, what it is, check this out. I'm going to hit escape a couple of times to get out of the command. Go to 3D. So, as you can see, it's kind of like it's a door without a door, right? It doesn't have the door there, but it allows you to pass from one space to another. Really common between like a dining room and a kitchen, between a kitchen and like a butler's pantry, or just going from a space to a hallway, super common. Okay, of course you wouldn't want a door, in certain areas like between a dining room and a kitchen where you have to open the door to get the food from where you're going to eat it to where you're going to cook it. That would be kind of bad. Okay, let's go back to the level 1 and let's throw in a couple of those doors we loaded in earlier. Let's go to architecture door. Let's do one of these exterior doors just for giggles. It doesn't matter which one. Just go ahead and plunk it in. Just anywhere like that. And let's see, for giggles, let's just use one of these in just regular, plain old, boring flush. Doesn't matter which one, just kind of plunk one in. And you can see the temporary dimensions are alive there, so if we wanted to make those exactly where we want, we could. And so you can see that the doors kind of host. Let's go to the 3D view and check it out. So there's your opening, there's your door, which has an opening with a door in it, and then there's your, let me just spin this around a little bit. Using the view cube. Notice that you can actually see through the glass. So these are physical objects that are, we can do some pretty cool stuff here. We'll eventually be able to do renderings and do photorealistic views of the inside of our building. So kind of cool stuff. Now, there's no swings on the 3D part. There's the only swing, you only see the swings from the plan view. Okay, so it should look something like that right now. I'm in the middle of page 25. I think we talked about the line weights a little bit earlier, but they're right here. It's called thin lines. It's on your very top up here. And it's just kind of an on-off switch. Sometimes they're handy and sometimes they're not. I like working with them off. So in other words, they're not weighted, but when we set to print, we're going to want those lines to pop like that so they print good, print well. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep that off for now. And we talked about the detail level being um, medium. If you put it on coarse, you're going to get this kind of hollowish thing. Sometimes you don't need all of the detail that's inside those walls on a particular view, so we'll set that to different levels. So with walls, medium and fine are the same. So whichever one you do, they're just going to look exactly the same. So we'll put it on medium for right now. There'll be other things later on where fine, medium, and coarse it changes. All right. Let's see. I think we're doing pretty good here. I did this a little out of order. I'm on the bottom of page 25, top of page 26, kind of did all that stuff. So you can see on the top of page 26 kind of where we're at. Now, again, you'll notice that there's no doors here because I had that thing on when I did the doors. This button, I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on again, wasn't picked. So because of that, they're not tagged. But like I said before, it's no big deal to tag them. Just go to annotate, tag by category. I'm going to uncheck leader. If you put leader on, it just puts a leader there, which is fine. It doesn't really matter. But I like tagging them without the leader. Boom. Now that's not a door, so it's not going to tag. The opening doesn't have a tag because it's not a door. By the way, if your door numbers don't match mine, don't worry about that. It's just a random number assigned to the door to identify it. And like I said, it could be anything. Some companies actually change these to like letters. So A, B, C, D, E. Some do A-5, A-6, A-7. So, but out of the box, what you have right here is fine. Okay, let's see. I was going to show tiling. I'm going to open up just a couple of views here just for fun. Let's open up. I've got the south view open. I've got level 1 open. And I've got 3D view open. You can tab through these. You can also tile these. So I can go view and I can tile these views so that I can see all of them at the same time. I'm just using my mouse here and just kind of setting it up here. And they can be, I could have the plan view be over here and the elevation be over here. You can toggle these how you want. So you can see what you're working on. So for example, if I was to like go close in here to this door and go close into this door and go close into this door, when I pick this door here, you can see it picks on all the other views. If I pick on that door, see how it kind of turns blue on all the other views. So when you're picking it, you're picking it. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are. These are just different views of the same door. If you don't like that, you can always just close these. Close. Now I'm not closing the software, I'm just closing the view. So now the only one I have open is 3D, and if I wanted to open another view, I would go into the browser and double click, open the other view. So now I have two views open. So you can open up a whole bunch of views if you want, but the problem with doing that is that it's hard to see, right? Unless you have a really big monitor, it's hard to see some of those things. So I'll show you other tricks on that later. All right, but the idea is you can toggle between the views. I have a control tab thing cycling through the views I can show you, but I'll do that later. All right, so this is a good place to stop. We're going to save this as Revit2022. So it's a file. You should save this in the same spot you saved Revit2022. Save as. I probably should have been saving this just a little earlier, but all right, and Revit demo. I'm just going to back that up and just call it Revit demo 2. By the way, this .rvt at the end, you don't have to have that. If it's like that, it'll save it fine. It just puts the RVT at the end. And save, and I like having all these demos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and stuff. Sometimes you want to go back and you want to review something, and but you don't want to start it from scratch. So that's why I've got this kind of incrementalized. So if you want to go back and look at it, right after we did the doors, for example, then you open up Revit Demo 2, and then you would be at the spot in the model where we just did the doors. If you want to just see the 6 walls and start at that spot and practice doors, then you can open up Revit Demo 1. Sorry, my internet access where I'm doing this is crappy, so it's just being slow. So you've learned how to load a family, to control the location of an object with temporary dimensions and witness lines, and to rotate the 3D model. So yeah, we're just rolling right along here, and I don't know why this is being like this, but I'm going to end this video here, and we're going to shift on to Revit Demo 3 on the next video.